Welcome back to Oregon Football with Chip Kelly as we get ready to begin the second half. And Coach, again, we talked about it, the momentum that you're taking into the third quarter. Score the final 14 points to go ahead 28-24. You're going to get the ball to start the second half. And it's got to be the type of feeling that the confidence is building. Your team kind of feels like it, like things are going to get going here pretty quick. And again, being able to start on offense after scoring points like that has to be a good feeling too.
Well, that was the design. And
that was the hope.
That's what we talked about at halftime and knew we were getting the ball coming out here in the second half, and uncharacteristically turned the ball right over on the opening kickoff and put ourselves in a little bit of a hole. I'll give our defense credit for bailing us out of it, but you know, that's not the way you want to start the second half. We felt like we did a great job at the end of the first half. We certainly had the momentum. We were getting the ball at halftime. We felt if we could put a drive together here, we'd be in great shape, but not the way we exactly sketched it out at halftime in the locker room.
Well, let's get right into the third quarter highlights. As you mentioned, Cliff Harris is going to have an opportunity to return this opening second half kickoff return, and Oregon's going to get the ball. That was the hope and the design, but unfortunately on this play turns it over deep in your own territory. The only time you put the ball on the ground all game long, offense didn't, but special teams, and puts the defense in a real tough sudden change, if you want to call that situation, and yet they respond well.
Yeah, we practiced this, you know, in the ability to come out and when you know, you do have a turnover, and it's not the turnover that's the biggest thing in college football. It's the response after the turnover, and I thought our defense came up huge.
Well, they did come up huge. Cameron Marshall for 11 up the middle to be able to get it first and goal at the Oregon 5, and what appeared to be a pretty good play in the end zone by Talmadge Jackson. They flag him for pass interference. Frustrating night for Talmadge Jackson, even though he continued to played through it, made some key plays at the end. And but here's the big play right here. Zach Clark knifing through and able to strip him away. Paysinger gets on the fumble. Huge play at this point in time.
You know, when you can get a team to turn the ball over inside the 5-yard line on their way to go in and score, is huge. And our defense did respond. We put them in a bad situation, but it gave us a little bit of breathing room.
Well, after a couple of series exchanges between Oregon and Arizona State, your team takes over 1st and 10 at their own 20, and play to LaMichael James, and then Kenyon Barner on the outside for the quick first down. And again, nice plays to be able to move this ball down the field, and Lavassier Tune on the outside for another 12 yards and a first down. But it leads to a huge play here.
Barner set up to his left this time. Thomas on the snap, going to throw it again. Pump fake, wants to go deep. He's got Huff wide open. He's got it, and he will score at the 10, at the 5. That's a touchdown.
And this is our EA Sports play of the game. Josh Huff, the freshman, his second touchdown of his career. This one a big one. Fake outside, up the field he goes, and he's wide open.
We had really thrown the ball early in the late in the second half to Drew Davis on the perimeter because they were overplaying it and blitzing the quarterback and trying to take away our run game. And then we felt that one of our halftime adjustments is to run the next phase is you know, fake it to Drew and then take Josh over the top, and they bit the cheese, and we got an opportunity to score a touchdown.
54-yarder, and Oregon takes the lead 35-24, 6 plays, 80 yards in a minute 47. And go back on defense here as Stephen Threet has to scramble out for 5 yards. Paysinger runs him out of bounds over on the sideline. And again, the continued pressure and the adjustments you talked about really taking its toll there. Arizona State lucky to get the ball back there, Coach. And then Boyette on third down anticipates this pass perfectly.
Great read by John, undercuts the receiver, and starting to get stops on third down were key to us in the second half.
No doubt about that, and able to get the ball back and try to make some plays here as you get Jeff Mayle open on down the sideline. Almost hit a big one there that was an opportunity for a touchdown, and too bad you missed it because it was there to be made. And there were some plays actually during the game to be made that you missed, and yet still continue to come back, to stick your nose into it. I thought Darren Thomas, as you talked about, last night after the game, Darren Thomas stuck his nose in and got hit a lot, yet just played harder and harder and harder. Tough kid.
He did, but we need to capitalize. There were just 3 plays in a row there offensively where it was all us, not them. You know, a drop pass, a missed open receiver, missed block on a linebacker when the quarterback's running with the ball, and we need to capitalize on those situations when they come up again.
Well, Arizona State gets the ball back, and again, some big plays here, or some plays here and there where they're able to try to complete a play here, there. George Bell with a catch there to bring up 3rd and 1. So they're just trying to move the chains here, but boy, I tell you what, you never give up on a play.
5:08 left in the third. Threet on first down, back to throw, swings it out, ball dropped, and it It is no, they're not, haven't blown the whistle yet. It's going to be called a lateral, and Oregon's picked it up and scored. It's called a lateral.
Bo Lacumbo, not only the pressure on the quarterback here, Coach, but he never gives up on the play and goes out and picks up the fumble, runs it in for a touchdown. You coached your team be ready for it all week long, didn't you?
We talked about it, you know, with the amount of times they're throwing swing passes out there and the depth of the quarterback, and with the backs being 2 yards deeper from the start, is that there's a chance that any ball thrown to the edge is going to be a fumble, and to pick it up and run with it and then let the officials try to figure it out after the fact. But it really says a lot to Bo, listening to the coaching, had a great pressure on the quarterback, and it was a huge play for us in the second half.
Well, you could see what you said to your team and your coaching staff had said to them all week long. More than once, obviously, that came into play. And so 42-24 as Oregon takes an 18-point lead, and Arizona State trying to answer here, trying to make something happen after they'd struggled early on in the third quarter. But this pass right here to Kerry Taylor for 9 and a first down. And again, a big play here by DeAndre Lewis, who ran for over 100 yards in the game and had some pass receptions. And they kind of got something going again here for a little bit, didn't they? They
did. You know, when we knew we weren't going to stop them totally and shut them down, but we had to weather the storm and continue to play harder than they did. Talmadge comes up with a big interception here, but unfortunately was flagged for pass interference call before it. But we can't let that affect what our mentality is, and we need to just continue to fight until the whistle blows.
Well, and Talmadge Jackson didn't. He just kept fighting through it and fighting through it. Here, DeAndre Lewis goes for 6 yards, and 2nd and 4 at the Oregon 10, and Stephen Threet's able to find Mike Willie for the touchdown here as Oregon can't wrap up at the 2, and Willie, big wide receiver, is able to get in the end zone. He is a big kid, isn't he?
He is, but we have to do a better job on the play before this and this play of our ability to tackle in the open field, because we're going to face some other really good receivers in this league, and we need to be able to wrap them up and get them down to the ground.
Well, 8 plays, 68 yards and 232, and they seem to think, at least Arizona State and Stephen Threet, that they've found some sort of rhythm here as he hits George Bell for 25. And then Jamal Miles goes for 5 yards right here. But again, another one of those plays where you've got to be ready and not think that any play is dead. And Casey Matthews picks this one up, Coach. And it's interesting because the whistle is blown dead on this particular play. And so I guess I want to say they get 50% of it right by reviewing it. But this is an opportunity for a touchdown for Oregon, isn't it?
It looks like it. You know, our guys in the booth said the ball was out, and I think the whistle came after the play. That's why they gave us the ball back at the 32, but that would have been another big play for us defensively. You know, to create 7 turnovers like we did speaks a lot about what our defense can do, but the fact that they scored twice on defense in the game, and with the potential to almost score a 3rd time, usually you got a pretty good chance of winning when you can get 3 scores from your defense.
Yeah, well, 42-31 at the end of the 3rd quarter, and it just seemed like more offense was to come, but that's not the case. And so we'll come back and take a look at the 4th quarter, 42-31, Oregon at the end of 3. Back after this on Oregon Football with Chip Kelly.